So I'm just entering my research area. This is October 18th. It's rainy, it's pretty nasty out, but the weather is supposed to improve. Haven't been up here in a while, so I'm pretty eager to get out here and see what I can find. I have my friend Elia with me. He's never been up in this area before. He's actually a big part of my channel, helps me with all my computer stuff. Helps me with everything, really. He's a big part of all my videos and everything. He'd been wanting to get up here and see some of this stuff, so that's what we're doing. We're about to set up camp in the pouring rain, and I have a friend coming up. He actually flew from Mexico. He lives in Mexico. He's coming up here in a couple days, and he's going to spend a couple days up here too. So we're going to be up here for 4 nights. Hopefully we can get some good action. Unfortunately though, it is hunting season, so there shouldn't be a ton of people up here, but this is the only time of year that you will see other people up here at all. So we won't be alone, but I don't think that the Sasquatch give any care to the hunters. I think they can avoid the hunters so easily that the hunters mean nothing to them. Which I used to think that they left this area during hunting season, but I don't think that anymore. This video is the first of what will be a series of videos from 2 different people, each of whom is coming out with me for 2 nights apiece. I have been wanting to figure out a way in which doing this research isn't so expensive for me. Time away from work, the fuel, everything. It gets very expensive doing this. And so I've been trying to come up with a way where people that are interested in this research, people that are interested in having an experience of their own or interested in seeing a lot of this sign in person, people like that can come out with me and take part in this if they're willing to help contribute to the expense of things, willing to donate to my research or however we work that out. And so I've had a lot of people show interest in doing this. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. And the first 2 nights are with Ilya, who's been a part of my channel and a massive help for everything. And he has wanted to come out and see some of this stuff. And then the next 2 nights are going to be with Colin, who is flying in from Mexico. And so there's a lot of different things I want to try to get done, but we're going to have a lot of weather to contend with. And so you'll see kind of 2 different trips over the next several videos that I put out. In the first video is with Ilya, and then in a few days after, I will be picking up Colin, who's, like I said, coming in from Mexico. And Colin and I do make some pretty massive discoveries, in my opinion. This trip, this 4-night trip, really opened my eyes and answered a lot of questions that I now have really strong theories on. And so there is a lot of interesting stuff to come. So I'm here at base camp with my buddy Ilya. We're setting up in the rain, the pouring rain. Well, it's not pouring rain, but it's rain. It doesn't seem like any vehicles have been down here, but it does seem like people have been in my campsite. I could be wrong though. I feel like I'm missing some firewood. I might have burned it all up. But this thing, Joe made this before we left. It has agates and crystals and feather, a big old chunk of crystal in this thing, copper wire, I don't know, a bunch of weird stuff he made. And he wanted to see if it would get rearranged. And I feel like it did. He has exact photos of it to be more definitive. But if I remember right, he had a circle. The rocks made a circle around the outer edge. And now they don't. So I don't know. I'm going to have to get confirmation from him on this. But it's kind of interesting. It's good old base camp. It's good to be here. I wish it wasn't raining. This is Ilya's first camping trip. Out in Sasquatch country. I don't know if he's a full-blown believer, but spend enough time out here, he will become one. If that is something that is stabbed into the earth, that is crazy.
That wasn't there before?
It totally does not look right, and that's something I would have taken notice on, because it's clearly been shredded and ripped apart. It's broken to pieces. Like, I can't imagine all the times I've looked down into this gully and not zoomed in on that. So that's gonna be one of the first things I look at. I'm gonna take you out tomorrow and show you how many top trees there are everywhere, and then start looking at trees in your own time when you're out and about, and you'll see that topless trees are very rare, almost non-existently rare. Yet up here, thousands of topless trees, fucking everywhere. So all over the mountain right now, the hunters are looking for these guys. And I already said earlier, the deer leave the mountain and they come down to the lower fields, and here they are, safe in somebody's backyard. It's kind of funny. Trucks all over the mountain, but the deer know where to be, not on the mountain. Look at that fire's got some nice coals. It's a good cooking fire there. So this is our campsite, middle of the night. Really dark, really wet, really quiet. We did have a sound off in the woods. Sounded like a critter. Could have been a coyote. Could have been a bobcat. But it was a weird sound I've never heard before. It was kind of like a squeal, high pitch, weird sound. It's kind of interesting, and it wasn't far away. It was just off in that darkness somewhere. It was right when we first got back to camp. It's really wet. I really hope this rain dies off quicker than it's supposed to. It's supposed to be wet tomorrow as well. But tomorrow we're gonna go find some of my long lost trail cams, and I want to show Ilya some weird tree structures and stuff around the way. Because of the weather, I don't see us going super deep anywhere tomorrow, but we'll see how we're feeling. There's plenty of cool spots worth exploring right around here. And there's a lot of area right around here I've never really even seen, because I always stick to the canyon systems, but I've been wanting to see some of the different forests off away from the canyon. So we'll see what the weather brings, what the morning brings.
Very much rain. I keep forgetting what my hair looks like. What it's gotta be.
This is camping in the rain. We have a nice bed of coals going out there, but it's pouring rain. Like pouring. And even this thing, it's keeping us dry, but it's got some drips in it. I'm kind of nervous about my tent holding up to this shit. I haven't tested that tent in conditions like this. I think I should probably drape one of them tarps over it just to be safe. In fact, I'm gonna do that right now because I don't want to wake up wet. If this isn't a way to test your tent out, then I don't know what is. Because this is some real Pacific Northwest coastal rain right now. I mean, it's brutal. It has not let up for at least an hour and a half straight like this. I'm talking marbles on a metal roof is what this rain is like, and it will not stop.
Guess who did not get any sleep last night?
I got a few hours. So it is shitty out. Shitty out. Last night was torrential downpour all night. And I don't mean like, oh, it was raining all night. Like, it was marbles bouncing off my tent all night. And Ilya, he wanted his own tent, which is fine. He should have just slept in mine. And his tent, this thing, ended up with about 2 inches of water in the bottom of it. But luckily, he was sleeping on one of my really tall air mattresses. And that really tall air mattress pretty much saved his life because it kept him out of the water. There's no moving through this brush without getting just soaked to the frickin' bone. And so I'm really kind of, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I almost said, fuck it, let's go home this morning. I could tell Ilya is freezing cold and, you know, not loving it. But Ilya's a piece of trooper, I'll give him that. You know, he tries to be positive about it, says, hey, it's an experience, it's interesting, it's something I don't normally do, is sleep in a freaking monsoon in the middle of nowhere. But as far as being a research mission, we're not doing anything productive. Ilya did say that last night, it was around 5 or 6 a.m., something came into our camp and was touching our tents. He thought it was me, but I was actually asleep around that time period. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with. I told him, if he stays another night, sleeps in my tent, he will be warm and dry all night. So I think we're gonna have to push on. I'm gonna go check trail cams. I'm gonna go try to be productive. sighting because I like to go there and look into the valley. So Ilya and I are on a little drive. I'm trying to show him the sights. Trying to at least do something up here productive. And this is what we're dealing with. Just torrential monsoon type shit. Oh, it just broke. Alright. Maybe that was one last thrust of hell and now we're gonna get some relief. I doubt it though.
Wow, the dark abyss. That's a deep, steep drop. Oh, and it's getting wet. Oh, it's getting very wet.
Oh no, can't see a thing. There could be an army of Sasquatch in there. So yeah, this is where I come to use my scope. But we're not seeing anything today. This is where I had my first sighting. And there's nothing. Pretty miserable research mission we're on. Pretty nasty and windy up here. Our campsite. Pretty frustrating to come all the way up here and get stormed out like this. But, you know, this is the first time I've ever had to deal with this kind of weather up here. I guess I had to have it happen to me sooner or later. The weather in the Pacific Northwest, especially coastal, is just so viciously wet and unpredictable. I've been pretty fortunate to not have to deal with this on all my other trips up here. And it's supposed to be coming to an end, but the weatherman can never predict the weather up here. The weather really has a mind of its own in this region. So this is a good example of what the wind does to trees. This is a lot of wind. This is very heavy wind. We're up on a mountaintop. And as you can see, you know, these trees are blowing and swinging. But what the wind will not do to a tree is snap its top right in this area. As you can see, when the wind blows, that whole tree moves. So when the wind breaks a tree, it always fails at the ground. It's either going to snap down low or it's going to uproot the tree. Like this tree leaning sideways right here. That tree got blown by the wind and I bet you its root system's popped. And that's why it's like that. And pay attention to these trees as they blow. The stress isn't up here. The stress isn't in the top 20-30% of the tree. The stress is transferred all the way down the tree. Wind does not break treetops at all. It's unheard of for wind to break treetops. And the only time you will ever find a treetop that breaks from the wind is when it is an old, dead, dry, brittle tree. Look at the swinging of these trees. None of these trees are breaking at their top. It just doesn't happen. The wind does not break them like that. The wind uproots them or breaks them down low. Down low where the base is the oldest, thickest. It's strong, but it's also brittle because it's so strong and stiff. It doesn't flex like the treetops do. This section of the tree is young and soft and designed to flex, designed to swing. It does not break them off. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to show this is very heavy wind. And even though it's very windy up here on this mountaintop, when I go down below into the valleys, it's barely windy at all. And in the canyon bottoms and the valley bottoms, where they get little to no wind, there's areas where there's countless tree after tree after tree missing its top. And I'm going to show you all this here in a second. And this is just, like I said, a good example of swinging trees, swinging in the wind. And they're never going to break at the top. The wind will not break them in that way. So we're up on a mountaintop right now in heavy wind. And I'll show you. This tree right here, its top has been broke. And you jump over that tree there, its top has been broke. That tree right there, its top has been broke. It's why it grew that weird new top. And then you come over here, you know, that tree, it was topped. And both of these trees right next to it have been topped. And I know somebody would say, oh, high wind, the wind is breaking the tops of these trees. I'm telling you, the wind cannot break tree tops. Not green, healthy, they are designed to flex. That tree's also been topped. You jump right here. This tree right here has been topped. And the thing is, oh look, right here, this one's been topped. Yeah, that one's been topped as well. And there's a bunch more. And so up here in the high wind, you know, people would say, oh, it's just wind and storms breaking the treetops. It's not, but I'll go ahead, okay, I'll give that to the naysayer. Wind, weather, it's breaking the treetops up here on this mountaintop. But then why is it that when I go into these lower gullies, into these canyons, into the areas where there is no wind, where they're very protected by the weather, I'm finding the same thing, top trees everywhere. It's a major anomaly. In even a non-believer, naysayer type person cannot give any explanation for all the top trees in this region. And I know trees, and I've been all over more than the Pacific Northwest. I've been all over the country in the past year, looking at trees, looking at forests, looking at different habitats. And there is no concentration of top trees like there is here, anywhere that I've found. And I've been to areas that are way more hardcore as far as snowfall and weather and really cold temperatures. So really cold temperatures could potentially be something that a naysayer could say is responsible for topping trees. But if that was the case, there would be an abundance of top trees in the really cold regions of Idaho that I've been to. And there isn't. Look, right here. That tree's been topped. Right here, that tree's missing its top. And then it just keeps going. So this is something that caught my eye. See this stick here? This is a treetop. Very fresh. You can see how fresh that wood is. It's still got that orangish hue to it. And look, this is another treetop right here. And then that right there is another treetop. And then right here, that also is a treetop. So right here, in this little group, at least 4 of these big 100-foot trees were topped right in one little area. Now that, oh, and then keep going. And then look, here's another treetop. And then I bet you right going that way, that's another treetop. So there's 5 right here. Topped from way up. Way up high. it's so wet in here. Oh, wow. And then look, here's another treetop. It's just so wet. I want to go explore up in here. It's just too nasty. Just crazy. Oh, wow. I gotta go a little further. And see, these trees are all pretty protected. Look, that's a treetop. Right here's a treetop. Another one. Oh. Oh, I can see treetops everywhere. Look. That sideways tree, that's a treetop. And that old dead one right in the middle of the screen, that's a treetop. And I go right there, that's a treetop. I mean, it's everywhere, everywhere. Why are they breaking all the damn trees so? Oh, I guarantee you there's some footprints in here. Look, here's a treetop. That's another freshie. See, when they still have that orange, that means they're really freshly broken, because that orange turns, you know, to sort of a whitish, grayish color really quickly. See this treetop? See, there's another treetop. Look at this trail. This is a pretty interesting trail. Look, that's a treetop. Look, these treetops. That is a treetop. That down there is a treetop. These are all treetops. This is a treetop. That's a treetop. Look, another treetop. See, that one's stabbed into the ground like a lawn dart. So is that one. And look, it just keeps going and going. Another treetop. More treetops. Look, these are all treetops. This is a really interesting trail because it parallels the road. And these are fresh. That's a fresh break. God, I don't have a gun. I don't have bear mace. I don't have anything. Oh, look at this. See this? This is stabbed into the ground. Yeah, that's a treetop that's just been stabbed into the ground. So I had to stop the video here to point something out. This was early on in this investigation, and I had just started to recognize that there was a strange higher volume of treetops stabbed into the earth. In the video you're watching just a minute ago, I walked by 3 treetops that were impaled into the earth. And I walked by them and just kind of shrugged them off, thinking, oh, they must have stabbed into the ground as they fell from the treetop. But I was wrong, because what I realized in the next coming days is that something has gone through this area and has impaled hundreds of these treetops into the earth. Some of them are logs, upside down logs. Some of them are small, wrist-sized branches. They're all impaled into the earth. And this wasn't there in all my past missions. I'd never noticed this phenomenon. And now my research area is literally inundated with treetops, logs, and branches impaled into the earth like lawn darts. And like I said, at this moment, I'm filming this, I hadn't caught on to this yet. This was the beginning of me starting to recognize that something was off, something was new. But as I'm looking at this treetop, I'm sort of debating that it may have just fallen from the sky when it broke from the tree and stabbed the ground. But I'm wrong. And in the coming videos, I will finally put forth a theory that I am very confident of is the reason they're breaking these treetops and the reason they're stabbing them into the ground. It's all connected.
Hugh, having a Sagittarius moment, just disappeared. Suddenly I heard his voice talking about trees, and then suddenly it was quiet. It was too quiet. I'm like, this guy doesn't stop talking for that long. What's going on? There he goes. He's gone. Oh. Yeah. Down here. About to come look for you.
Oh, I see you. Okay. I thought I heard a car coming. So I wanted to bring your attention back to this tree. This is that fresh broke treetop that I pointed out earlier. And I talked about how you could see the orange of the fresh break. I hadn't caught on to this at this point, but this is an upside down treetop impaled into the earth. It's standing up on its own, and I just assumed that it was snagged up in these branches and it was just sitting there like that. But what I will soon find in the days to come is that there is a incalculable amount of these treetops stabbed into the earth now. It's bizarre, to say the least. They are everywhere. And I didn't even realize that until I was editing this video. I was like, wow, there was one right there in front of me and I hadn't caught on to it yet. But this is an upside down tree. And you'll see in the coming videos that there is so many of these now. And I am working on proving why they're breaking the treetops and why they are impaling them into the earth. So wet here. Yeah, there's so much new activity in there. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Treetop after treetop. And there's a treetop that has been stabbed into the ground. I don't know if it fell from the sky and stabbed into the ground or something actually stabbed it into the ground.
Wouldn't these treetops have leaves?
No, these are conifer trees. They have pine needles.
Do they have pine needles?
Well, they would, but they're once it broke off and fell, they all die pretty quickly. This is a leaf tree. This is a deciduous tree.
Yeah.
Now, the Sasquatches fuck with them plenty, but I don't make a big deal about them because Mother Nature does a lot of weird stuff with deciduous trees. So for the non-believer naysayer, they can roll their eyes and laugh when you see an alder that's twisted or a maple that's twisted. But these trees grow like Christmas trees. They grow straight up with uniformity. They don't twist and bend and do all the weird shit. So when you start finding these that are twisted and bent and topped and manipulated, then you know that something isn't right, that Mother Nature isn't behind that. See, there's a different patch of forest, but same thing. Right here, treetops. This is a downed tree, it's uprooted. But this is a big old, that's a fat treetop. I mean, that's a foot wide right there, snapped off. And look, this is an old treetop. Been here a while. God, all of a sudden there's trucks. All of a sudden the hunters are out here. See, there's just so much mutilated trees, pushed over trees, top trees, and you know what? These look suspicious to me. Yeah, look at this. Okay. This, yeah, that is just stabbed into the ground, okay? Weird. Impaled into the earth, not growing there. As is this, that's just stabbed into the ground, sticking up. Ooh, as is this. This isn't, that's not a rooted tree, it's just stabbed into the ground. Okay, so that one is rooted, but this one is not. It's just stabbed into there. And this one's just stabbed in there. That's 1, 2, that's 3, 4 that are just stabbed into the ground. Oh, and there's another one. Ooh, that looks like a potential footprint. It's too hard to tell. Elliot, you see that stick right in front of you? That's just stabbed into the ground. And then there's 3 others. There's 4 of them. They're not planted. They're just pierced into the earth for some reason. They don't have a root system. And like this one, here's another one, just stabbed into the ground. Ooh. Slippery, slippery, slippery. Yeah, look at that. That's not a root. This is just, that's crazy. Just stabbed into the ground. Just more abnormal stuff. Ooh, that's a nice tree break right there. That's actually a great tree break. I gotta look at that. Look, top trees, all over. But this, yeah, look at this tree. It's growing right next to that big tree. So it has that big tree protecting it. from the wind. But that would have been a perfect way to get between those two trees and use the leverage off that big tree to push over and break this tree. That is a tree break if I've ever seen one. I don't care what anybody says.